Okay, so today I'm going to be recording a BJCP score sheet review for Weihenstephaner's Hefeweißbier Dunkel, also known in the United States as a Dunkel Weissbier. Now, I think I should probably just taste it first and then talk about it a little bit later, because it's been a long day of work. All right, so the pour. Now, unfortunately, Um, I was not able to get a proper glassware, so I'm using a Pilsner glass, and it looks like I'm getting quite a bit of head, but here she is. Quite beautiful. All right, so let's take a look at the score sheet and what I need to talk about. So first category, this is 10B Dunkel's Weissbier. Um, no special ingredients. Okay, aroma. Yeah, so right off the bat, you're definitely getting that aroma that you would naturally expect for a Weiss beer, which is banana. Yeah, and probably a little bit of clove as well. Okay, appearance. It's got a beautiful foamy head. You can see it maintaining that head quite a bit above the rim, so that's pretty impressive. Beautifully cloudy and fluffy. Something I aspire to in my own home brewing. Appearance. What else? So highly effervescent, lots of bubbles, relatively clear actually. And let's see, in terms of color, I'm going to consult SRM guide from How to Brew, fantastic book for brewers. Um, yeah, right in the middle, I would say uh, medium amber. So that's about 12 SRM. I would say maybe a little, yeah, probably right on the money with 12 SRM. In terms of hop aroma, not much. This is again much more of a malt and yeast forward style, so hop should be playing a background role. Appearance, already talked about the color, the clarity. Head retention is gorgeous so far, and I'm not sure if yeah, you can't really see it, but it's just continuously bubbling, which is great for maintaining that beautiful fluffy head. You can actually see that it has fallen a little bit. Before that pillowy cloud was kind of floating above. Now it's sunk a little bit, but still gorgeous. Okay, flavor. I gotta give this a taste. Hmm. Well, um, yeah, certainly getting the phenolic flavors, the sort of clove pepper type flavors. Um, yeah, definitely getting that banana in the aroma. Um, actually, can't be ignored. I have to say, it's got a little bit of a tartness that is really catching me off guard. I don't think that should be characteristic of the style, and it's not necessarily something I was hoping to find, but um, I'll take a look and see if that's typical. It could be, again, this is an imported beer, and the quality sometimes suffers in transport, and I actually don't know how long it's been sitting on the shelf at the liquor store that I picked it up from. Um, Balance, I would say. I mean, yeah, it's got a little bit of a residual bitterness, I guess, coming from the hops. But I would have to say I think centers around maltiness. Um, so quite malty, but uh, appropriate level of hops, I guess. Um, and I guess the one other thing I'm picking up is maybe a sort of astringency. Yeah, I guess the effervescence and the CO2 is coming off as a little bit like extra tart, and maybe that's where the astringency is coming from, is that carbonation level actually. But highly carbonated, yeah. Overall, though, um, yeah, maybe not in line with what my expectations were, and that's not to say that my expectations are correct. I mean, Weihenstephaner is a well-known German brewery, one of Bavaria's finest, as far as I know. And so I really want to just chalk this up to maybe how this bottle specifically has been treated over time. Um, yeah, so just unavoidable, but to notice that in terms of the palate, like you're definitely getting that bubbling sensation, which would be fine if with the right flavor, but to me it's got a little bit of a like a sourness that doesn't seem quite right. Um, yeah, normally also, for a Weiss beer, I would be expecting quite a bit more wheat character. I guess I am getting some of that, but I've definitely had wheat beers that are much wheatier. Um, I guess at this point, I've sort of given my own overall impression. Um, I guess I can try and be quantitative this time, um, in terms of my BJCP score sheet. So for aroma, I think it's right on the money. I'm really happy with how it smells. I would give this 9 or 10. The appearance, again, I did enjoy the bubbling. It's still producing a lot of carbonation, which is great, and maintaining pretty nice head, to be quite honest. Um, so no faults there. 3 out of 3. Flavor, this is where I think, especially in maybe not so much in the finish, but in the front palate, something that's just not quite right. But yeah, the cloves from the yeast, the clove flavors from the yeast definitely come through. But yeah, I don't know, beer just really sad to say doesn't quite taste how I would have liked. I think it's maybe, I guess skunked is the word that comes to mind. I'm not sure if that's what it is or isn't, but let's at this point, I guess let's go through the style guidelines and see how they compare to what we've actually got going on. So, um, dark German wheat beer with a distinctive banana and clove yeast character, supported by toasted bread or caramel malt flavor. So, definitely get the banana and the clove, as I've mentioned. I'm not getting that toasted bread or caramel malt flavor. I think it's the flavor is just being dominated by the uh, whatever happened to this beer that's not correct. Um, Aroma moderate phenols, usually clove and fruity esters. Um, yeah, I'm definitely getting the phenols. More of the banana now. Maybe it's warming up a little bit. It says the balance and intensity of these phenol and ester components can vary, but should be reasonably balanced. I would say that's the case. Unfortunately, it's just that it's not balanced by that nice Dunkel malt. that we were hoping to get. Dunkel being German for dark, so those kind of bread and caramel flavors. Um, yeah, and more just kind of old stale. Maybe it's oxidized, and I guess this is good practice because if I'm gonna be judging homebrew beer, oxidation is definitely something that I could be getting. Um, let's see, looking at some of the other descriptors for some of the off flavors. It's not diacetyl. Yeah, musty maybe could be. I think oxidized is the most accurate though, because it's I had said astringent. They say winey or vinous, and I think that's really how it comes off, and stale is maybe also what I'm getting there. Appearance is beautiful, light copper to mahogany to brown. Definitely getting that. Very thick, moussey, long-lasting off-white head. Oh, I didn't comment on the head color, but yeah. Um, off-white, again, spot on. I'm getting a bit more of the wheat now, actually. Um, and wheat beers are not my favorite style, but yeah, unfortunately, I do think this beer has been oxidized and staled quite a bit. Okay, let's see. I don't want to skip over anything. Um, no vanilla or faint bubble gum. Mm, spicy herbal or floral hop flavor is very low to none. Hop bitterness is very low to low. Okay, well, again, actually that very good there. Really don't get much in the way of hops. Maybe a little bit spicy, but that could actually just be coming from the phenols from the yeast. Mouthfeel, medium light to medium full body. I would say that the mouthfeel on this is on the lighter side, maybe even below medium light. So I would say like uh, on the light side of medium light, but definitely not medium full. Texture of wheat as well as yeast in suspension imparts the sensation of fluffy, creamy fullness that may progress to a lighter finish. I'm going to add a little bit more. Again, look at that, just comes right back that head. Um, yeah, not getting much of that creaminess, but yeah, I guess I kind of do get that fluffy sensation they're talking about. And honestly, if it wasn't for the oxidized nature of this, I do think this would be extremely drinkable. And probably the creaminess would come through a lot better. Really kind of hard to comment on the malt profile just because of how dominant that stale flavor is. I think I should probably look into this, but I guess based on what I'm tasting, I would have to say that when a beer does stale, maybe it's that staling is taking away from the maltiness, and maybe it's the malt flavors that are actually getting oxidized and changing the flavor profile of the beer. Um, yeah, so kind of disappointing, but that's what I'm getting from this Weihenstephaner Hefeweißbier Dunkel. So uh, maybe I'll try again in the future. Maybe I'll wait until I make my way to Germany. I will reserve reservations on how I feel about this beer ultimately until I get a chance to try a great example of this style. But nevertheless, I do feel like this tasting and analysis did show me what I'm looking for. There was a lot about this beer that would would have given high scores. It's really just the flavor where it suffered. Um, and again, that comes down to the oxidized and stale flavor. So uh, flavor is the largest portion of the total score, 20 out of 50 points. Overall impression, I'll give it a 5 out of 10 because, again, the flavor hurt it. I think the mouthfeel, um, again, that warmth and creaminess, I could see the hints that it's there, but the that staleness kind of just dominates. So I'll gonna give it a 3 or 4 out of 5 on mouthfeel. Appearance, 3 out of 3, gorgeous. Aroma, I think I had said 10 out of 12. Um, I'll stick with that. But the flavor is really where I'm gonna ding it and give it maybe 8 out of 20. I'll do the math later. But yeah, probably not probably not over 30 for that beer in total out of 50. Stylistic accuracy, classic example. I mean, I think this is one of the beers that sort of defined this the style. Technical merit, certainly not flawless, leaning towards significant flaws. Intangibles, I mean, it's got to kind of fall right in the middle because in some senses it's wonderful, but in others it's a bit lifeless. Well, thanks for watching and listening. Sorry to have a disappointing beer to review.